Hi, this is Sarit Swetzer, and welcome to the It Is Taught podcast, a podcast devoted to the teachings of Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi as recorded in his most famous work, the Tanya. My hope for this show is to make these teachings accessible and relatable to the average person, regardless of prior Jewish education or affiliation. The episodes follow the prescribed daily study portions and are meant to serve as practical lessons in how to live your life as your true self and develop an authentic and powerful relationship with your Creator. I have personally experienced the effects the study of this work has had on me, and I'm excited to share what I can of this knowledge with you. So please join me on this journey of learning, self-growth, and connection with your source. Hi, and welcome to the It Is Taught podcast. This is episode 608 for the 5th of Av in a regular year. So the topic of today's Tanya is all about slowing down. So it's actually a very, very straightforward entry today, maybe one of the most straightforward entries, like really not a lot of esoteric ideas or abstracts. It's extremely to the point. The point here that the Alter Rebbe is going to bring in this section is just all about when setting up congregational prayer, the person leading the prayer should not be somebody who is a very busy person, should not be somebody who has places to go and people to see and needs to rush off. It should be the type of person who really has the time to lead the congregation in a long and thoughtful prayer. And so this is a very big personal message for me. I'm the type of person who, those of you that know me, I tend to rush around a lot. I like to get a lot done. I don't have a lot of patience. I'm really trying to do 5 things at once a lot of times. I'm fast. Even when I pray, I tend to pray really quickly. So I'm taking this entry today really to heart, and I'm really going to try to use it as an opportunity, especially today on this day of Tisha B'Av, which is like there's not a lot to do. We're fasting. You're not really supposed to work. You're not even supposed to really learn Torah. So it really is a good day to practice this art of slowing down. And I think that this art of slowing down, this lesson of slowing down, I think the Alter Rebbe was really, really ahead of his times in this way. Like this is something that only now is starting to be seen as a virtue in the world at large. It used to be thought of that the busier you are, the faster you do things. You apply for a job. Do you have the ability to multitask? Like these kind of questions, how fast can you type? How quick does your mind move? Like these kind of things, these kind of questions are becoming kind of anachronistic. We're really starting to place more value in our society of seeing the harm that this fast-paced lifestyle brings. There was a book I read a while back. I think it was Dan Ariely, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't remember the name of the book offhand, which really, in which he demonstrated this idea of how multitasking is really a misnomer, because if you try to multitask, you actually don't get anything done. He gives this example in the book that I'll just give you guys really quickly of if you want to count to 10. So let's say, try to count to 10 as fast as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? And then let's say if you want to say the letters of the alphabet, the first 10 letters of the alphabet really fast. So that's A through J. See how fast you do that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, right? This is pretty fast also. Now, what if you wanted to alternate between the two? So it's one number, one letter, one number, one letter. So it would be like 1A, 2B, 3C. So try to do that fast and you'll see instantly, I'm not going to go through it, but instantly you're going to slow down. It's going to be a lot slower, the process. So to fool ourselves into thinking that we can do many things all at once and really fast, we're actually just deceiving ourselves. And so this is a value that I think society at large is really coming to own and to understand. There's an uptick in meditation classes, in mindfulness classes, in learning to do things slowly. There's a book called Deep Work that came out a while back by Cal Newport, which is all about this idea of really, instead of trying to do a million tasks in a day, really focusing on doing less and really delving into whatever you're doing in a really deep way, focusing. There's an uptick in ADHD in the world that a lot of people think isn't necessarily genetic or innate, but it's actually generated by all the social media and the YouTubes and, all of the stimulation that we're getting at all times. So I think society is finally catching up to this idea that we really need to slow down. It's really essential for our health, physically, and as we'll learn today, for spiritually as well. And so let's get straight into the text because it is very, very straightforward today, as you'll see. And so the Alter Rebbe really is just going to be praising this idea of praying slowly to the point that he's actually going to give a little bit of a threat to his Chassidim who do not pray slowly and who don't, and he's going to kind of say that they're not so welcome in his study hall, in his classes. That's the extent of the power. That's the extent of the emphasis that he puts on this praying slowly. So here we go. So for context, we are still in the middle of Epistle 1 of Iggeres HaKodesh. And so the Alter Rebbe begins and he says, and once again, I'm going to add one more time with even more explanation and with an even redoubled request that is very explicit before all of our Chassidim that are close to us and that are far to take upon themselves. So it's like he's really emphasizing this is something he's like giving a personal request here. It's very personal and it's like he's pleading with his Chassidim that every weekday, those people who are involved in business, so basically businessmen who don't have a lot of time, should not come down before the ark, but rather only those people, the people that should lead the prayer, should be the type of people that have a lot of spare time. People who are like teachers, for example, or people who are supported by their parents even. So not somebody who's like a super busy person. So he wants the type of person who should it be the type of person that leads these prayers? This is somebody who should be able to be involved in praying in the morning in the Shacharis prayer for at least about an hour and a half for every weekday. So think about that. How long does it take you if you're the type of person that prays every morning? How long does it usually take you to pray? I'm guessing probably not an hour and a half, or if it does, all praise to you. I wish I was that person. I'm embarrassed to say how long it takes me to pray in the morning compared to this. So the Alter Rebbe says that really this is something that we should only have people, leaders of the congregation who can pray, who have the time to spare, that it should take them at least an hour and a half. So one of these kind of people should be brought down to the ark, like to pray before the congregation, and they should be. And how do you pick these people? They should be picked out by lot. There should be like a lottery to see who we're going to pick amongst these kind of people that fall into this category, or according to consensus. Like there should be like a vote, I guess. And then, so basically, this type of person should gather around him all kinds of people who are supported by their parents or who are teachers and who are not distracted by other people who are going to rush. And so basically it's like, so first of all, we want to pick the leader of the congregation. So we want to pick somebody who has the luxury of being able to have more time in their day to be able to pray at length. And then he should surround himself also with more people who fall into this category, more people who have this time, this extra time in the day that they're not rushing to different places. And this arrangement should not be changed. And he's begging his Chassidim. He's saying, please, na v'na, like please, please. So it's a really big deal to the Alter Rebbe to say this. And then he says, okay, so that's true for weekdays, that we want this like hour and a half arrangement and with the Chassidim and all of that stuff and to have other people around him. But what about Shabbos and Yom Tov? So on Shabbos and Yom Tov, the businessmen have no excuse. They do have this extra time. And this is a very opportune time for them to pray at length and to have a lot of kavanah, a lot of intention in their heart and in their souls for God. So, and all the more so, their duty to do this is even so much greater, as it says in the Shulchan Aruch and the Orach Chaim. So it's explained there more at length, I guess. I haven't looked it up, but about just this idea of how these businessmen have more of an obligation even to take this time. It's like now they finally have the opportunity to pray at length. As it says, and then the Alter Rebbe brings a citation here from Shmos, chapter 20, verse 9, that you should work for 6 days, and then the seventh day is a day for God. So it's like, yes, you're a businessman. Yes, you have to work. We understand that. You have a busy life. You have to make money. Do that during the week. But when it comes to Shabbos, now's your time to slow down. This Shabbos is for God. And it states clearly in that verse that the entirety of the Shabbos is supposed to be devoted wholly and completely to God. And so thus, since this is the case, then these businessmen, we can bring them down on Shabbos and Yom Tov. They too are allowed to now lead the congregation in prayer. So it's like they're not like exempt, like they're not in this category anymore. So during the week, we want to pick people who are more like not really working in this intense kind of way, but on Shabbos and Yom Tov, they can also be put into this mix. And we can make, again, a lottery or figure it out like a through a majority vote as he explains. And now, not only this is where it gets like really like, wow, is the Alter Rebbe says that I'm actually going to send spies. It's like, I'm taking this so seriously that I'm going to be sending spies, says the Alter Rebbe, to all of the congregations in a secret way to figure out, to see, and to informers, to make sure that this is what's going on, to make sure that those people who have the ability to pray at length are not just being lazy, but they're actually doing so. So it's like, if you have that spare time to pray at length, you should be doing it. You should not. There's no excuse. And the Alter Rebbe is going to send spies to check up on you. Like, wow. And those people who do fall into this category, it's like more and more intense. It's like, wow. The Alter Rebbe says that somebody, if he does catch anybody who is slacking off in their prayer, then the Alter Rebbe is going to distance him when he comes to his shiurim, to his classes, to hear his Chassidim. And so wow. So it's like, basically, it's really severe. The punishment for not praying at length, if you have the time to pray at length, is that the Alter Rebbe is actually going to not let you. I don't know if it means that he's not going to let you into the class, or he's just going to make you like stand at a distance and not be like really close or something like that. But basically, it's through making the person distant from these classes. And then from the negative, the Alter Rebbe says you can infer a positive, which means basically that those who spend more time with prayer will be definitely welcomed in, will be brought close to this. So it's like, if a person takes this really seriously and says, okay, I'm going to really pray at length, and the Alter Rebbe sees this and he witnesses it, he's going to welcome them in with open arms, and he's going to want them to be close to him during the time of prayer. And then the Alter Rebbe says that those people that are listening to him, he's giving them that bracha, that good things should come to them. And what is good? There's no good except for Torah. So basically, he's giving a nice bracha to those people, those of his Chassidim who take him seriously in this way and really are taking these things to heart. So that's kind of interesting, this whole section. This is the end of the section, and it's different. If you notice, like, the style is very different than other things we've been learning so far in Tanya. I've noticed a lot of Iggeres HaKodesh, which we're going to be learning, is different in this nature, that it is a little bit more like informal, kind of like has a personal tone to it. But to me, especially, this entry really strikes me as this in a big way, that the Alter Rebbe is literally just pleading with his Chassidim. It's not about deep Chassidus. It's not about spiritual worlds or anything like that. He's giving them a very simple directive: pray slowly and pray with intention, and get someone in your congregation to lead who has the time to spare on weekdays. And if you're a businessman, on Shabbos and Yom Tov, you have no excuse. And those people can be considered for prayer there too. So with that in mind, I hope you have a very meaningful fast and a meaningful Tisha B'Av, that you do take this opportunity this day to slow down, to contemplate, to meditate, to really get into this deeper space of having a little bit better and more focused intention when it comes to your relationship with your Creator. So that's it for today, and we will continue tomorrow. Thanks for listening to the It Is Taught podcast, hosted by Sarit Switzer. This podcast is dedicated in loving memory of my maternal grandfather, Avraham Yitzchak ben Binyamin HaKohen of blessed memory. Music by Shoshana. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support the show, please share it with others and subscribe on YouTube, Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. To find out more about the It Is Taught project, including more information on my soon-to-be published book, please visit our website, itistaught.com. To catch the latest from me, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Looking forward to speaking with you tomorrow, and until then, have a great day.